Hi again guys, and welcome to episode 22 of Dirtmasters, the review series for the real rally cars of Gran Turismo 6. Now, first of all, a little announcement to make, and that is that this series was originally planned to be a 30-part series, but it is now probably going to be a 31-part series, and the reason for that, for any who don't know, is that a pretty cool thing has been announced, and that is that the Peugeot 208 Pikes Peak rally car has been confirmed for Gran Turismo 6 and is going to be added to the game at some point. That car is of course an 875 horsepower, 875 kilo monster, which set various records on various locations and is a very widely loved rally car. Now, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be added to the game, but I cannot not include that in this series, of course. But for this series, as you can see, we are reviewing the Lancia Delta S4. This is a Group B rally car, and basically it's a lighter, faster, more powerful, more hardcore evolution of the Delta. But how does it compare to the other rally cars, especially the other Group B class rally cars on Gran Turismo 6? Well, let's go to the track to find out. So, as we said in our intro, this is a more powerful and significantly lighter version of the Delta. So, as you'd expect, it is a lot faster. Acceleration-wise, I'm giving it a strong 5 because it is among the quicker rally cars on Gran Turismo 6. Now for brakes, I'm going to give it a 4 because they are pretty good, but not perfect. But they do a very good job all round. As far as low speed handling as well, I'm going to give it a 4 because although it's not bad, it does feel a bit cumbersome at low speeds. The handling gets better the faster you get. So overall for city tracks, I am actually going to give it a 5, because although the handling doesn't feel perfect, it will give you among the quickest of laps. So now let's see how it takes on a country track. So as we said, this Delta has significantly more power and a huge amount less weight than the other Delta HF Integrale WRC car. And again, like for acceleration, I am going to give this car a strong 5 for top-end performance. It is among the quicker rally cars on Gran Turismo 6 for that. For its high-speed handling, I'm actually going to also give it a 5, so it scores better for high-speed handling than for low. And the reason why I'm giving it a 5 is because the great thing about this car's handling is it gets better the faster you go. The handling gets more loose, but also more precise. The turning is better the faster you go, and the grip becomes at a much more manageable level. At low speeds, it feels almost like it has too much grip. And overall, for country tracks, again, I'm going to give it a strong 5 because it feels very good and it's also very fast. So now let's see how it tackles a dirt track. Now, when I first brought this Delta on our dirt and snow tracks, I wasn't really sure what to expect from it, because on the tarmac it almost changes second by second in terms of the way the car performs. At low speeds, as we said, the handling is stiffer. At high speeds it becomes better. Now on a dirt track, it's kind of a mixed result, because strictly speaking, it is a good car. It's surprisingly easy to get a hang of, and it is definitely fast. But it's not as fast as some cars which have less power and in some cases are far cheaper. And also, although I said it does handle well, there is something about this Delta which requires more practice, really, than many of the other rally cars. It's not difficult to drive, but it is more difficult to get the best out of. It has to be treated quite badly for it to work at its best. Now, it is a good rally car, no doubt about it, but the amount of work and practice that you have to put in to get the lap times that it's capable of does kind of work as a point against it, because there are many rally cars which are just as quick around the track but are far easier to get a hang of. But for dirt tracks overall, I am going to give it a 4, because it is quick but not the quickest, and it is good but not the best. So it doesn't feel really fair to give it the maximum 5. So now let's see how it handles a snow-based track. Now, as soon as I began driving this Delta here at Chamonix, I could instantly feel that it was much more at home on a snow track, and it really does drive a lot better on a snow track than it does on a dirt track. This car is much better on tracks that require a high-speed flow, such as snow tracks and our country-based track, than it is on tracks which require more of a start-stop driving style, such as city tracks or most dirt tracks. So overall, if you're looking to use this car in rallying, I would suggest using it more for the higher speed rally tracks rather than tight twisty tracks, because on those tight twisty tracks its performance and power isn't really justified, because you can never get the full use of it, and it works out to be no better than cars with far less power. But overall, for snow tracks, I am definitely giving it a strong 5, because it does feel both very much at home here and is very fast here as well, among the quickest of the rally cars we've tested so far. So a pretty good overall result for the Delta. So now let's finally go back to the garage for a roundup of its best and worst point. Overall then, the Delta S4 is a pretty good rally car. Now, it's not the quickest, but it's definitely far from being the slowest or the worst, and its overall rating is a very respectable 4.6 out of 5 as a tabulation of all of its scores put together. As far as its best and worst points, well, its best point is similar to the Peugeot 205. It's just an overwhelmingly fast car, especially in a straight line, which isn't that surprising from a Group B car with this car's power and weight. As far as its worst point, well, it's not strictly speaking a bad thing, but it's a potential worst point about this car is that to get the lap times that it's capable of, which are definitely not slow, it does take more effort to get those lap times than it would in sometimes even less powerful, or in often cases cheaper, alternative rally cars. Cars which at the end of the day are much easier to drive and can give you pretty much the same lap times as this, but are cheaper, as we said, less powerful, and much easier for the average Joe to get that kind of time out of. So this car really is for people who are looking for a bit more of a challenge, a bit more of a car that you have to handle rough to get the best out of it, and perhaps for people who are just fans of Group B rally cars. That's probably the main group of people that this car would appeal to. If you're looking for a pure rally machine that will just win, then it's not really the best car for you. But if you are specifically a fan of older rally cars, then I'd say it probably is. And of the Group B rally cars, it's one of the better ones overall, because although, as I said, it takes a bit more effort to get those lap times out of, it is a lot more forgiving than many of the other Group B cars. So, as always, I'll put this car's ratings, specs and lap times in the video description for you to check those out and compare them to the other rally cars if you need to. And that's it for this episode, so I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.